Okay, joining us now is one of our friends from Central Iowa, former Iowa State running back Jeff Woody, who was a major part of this rivalry from 2010 to 2013. Now he's a college football analyst calling games for ESPN this season. Jeff, you've hit the big time. We appreciate you lending your talents for the day. First off, Iowa State was 2-2 against Iowa in your playing career. Give me some of your favorite Cyhawk moments if you have some off the top of your head.
It's pretty easy to come down to a couple ones. So the two wins that we had, one was the triple overtime win in Ames.
Absolutely.
That was an absolute highlight. I was involved in the overtimes. I think of the three, I was on the field for one of the three. It was a touchdown to Darius Reynolds I was blocking for. So being on the field to score in overtime against Iowa, that was really cool, even if I wasn't the one doing it. And then the other one was the Jake Knott tip game, where it was at Kinnick. I think it was like 12-10 or something like that. Some weird low-scoring game where just the defenses were really, really good, and watching Knott get up and tip the ball from the sideline and being able to carry the Cyhawk trophy out of Iowa City, that was also pretty cool. So I apologize to any Iowa fans, but anytime somebody kind of a fan is like, oh, you kind of trash talking Iowa State, I just kind of have a picture, because I was one of the three people that carried the trophy off the field. So I pull a picture of me carrying the trophy out of Kinnick Stadium and say, what was that? So yes, but it's this one's fun. I'm really excited for Saturday because of just the mesh of styles that you're going to get with these two teams. So yeah, this should be fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask, we've been talking to players about the idea of playing against one of your opponents, one of your biggest rivals on the road, going into a hostile environment like that. Does it make it more sweet winning that game at home or on the road? Do you think you have an opinion on that?
For me, it's on the road because we've gotten one of each. And I think the thing is it's Iowa, so everybody's nice, except for 3 hours on that one Saturday. And then you hear some just mean stuff from the stands. And I'm sure it goes the other way. I'm 100% sure it goes the other way. But when you take that kind of fire and then the crowd just goes dead quiet, and that to me is the best feeling, because as an athlete, it's always want to don't tell me what I can't do, and I'm going to go do that thing. So when you get a win at a road, any opponents, like the two fun road wins that I can remember are at DKR when we beat Texas, and then at Kinnick when we beat Iowa, because you have so many people that are so loud, that are so fervently wanting you to not succeed and then succeed. To me, those are the sweet ones. I like winning on the road better than I like winning at home.
We heard a lot of that very loud silence last year with Kyle Camardi's field goals, certainly. Well, this season, your former team has looked outstanding in its first two games. They're 2-0, ranked number 16 in the country, played almost a flawless game last week against South Dakota. What has impressed you the most about this team?
He's wearing number 3. That's what impresses me the most so far. I think Rocco has been, he was good last year, and he was clutch last year, but he's even better this year. And I think the thing that impresses me the most about him and the offense is kind of a 1 and 1A. One is how in control of the offense Rocco is and knowing exactly to the blade of grass where every running back and wide receiver and tight end, where everybody needs to be. And when you do that, your margin for error gets bigger. Like Scotty Scheffler's a great golfer because he knows exactly where his wedges are going to go. So he knows what he can and can't take on. And that's why he's able to put the ball to that close every time he hits a wedge shot, because he knows exactly what his ball is going to do. And that's the thing that Rocco has playing quarterback, is he knows exactly where the play needs to go. And that's why he can be 19 of 20 in the passing game. And, that one incompletion was because a freshman tight end wasn't in the right spot. And so he threw it to where the guy should go. So everything was just, freshman. Yeah. Everything was just perfect. So that's the thing that's been impressive. And the second thing that's been impressive to me, still regarding the offense, is the fact that if you're Phil Parker and you are game planning this defense, when I was playing scout team offense, you would have a few guys that you say, all right, you're going to try and mimic this person, you're going to try and mimic this person, and we're going to put a orange cap on your head to let the defense know exactly where the number one threat is. You're playing CD Lamb at Oklahoma. All right, put a cap or a penny to make sure they can identify who's the guy you're putting the cap or the penny on at Iowa State. Bramer, maybe. Eskelson, maybe. Is it Abu Sama? Maybe. Is it Clark? There's no real one dominant thing that you just must take away for this offense, because it's all pretty good. So the balance across the board and Rocco's control of it is, to me, the thing that's the most impressive so far with this Iowa State team.
Through just a game or two, Iowa State certainly has looked like the better team compared to Iowa this year. Is there a major mismatch that you see that would favor either team this weekend?
There's an adage that I like to use, especially when you're watching film or in football specifically, because there's so much happening at any one given time, is it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems. So for those Iowa fans who think the sky is falling, um, it's not going to be as bad as it was, and specifically in the passing game, I think is where most people are concerned with Gronowski. Some of those were some ducks, and some of the passing game was pretty off. But you go back and look at those, and maybe his feet were bad. And in fall camp, you can kind of get away with it because you're wearing the purple jersey or whatever color it is. You're not getting tackled, so you can kind of get away with lazy footwork. But now that you're getting hit, or you're able to get hit, your feet speed up. So then you go back and practice the week afterwards, and you go, hey, Mark, here's what we can do. And then that gets corrected, and now you can start actually getting your feet in the ground, start throwing it a lot better. So the running game was really good. The passing game was pretty shoddy for Iowa in week one, and I expect that to get a lot better. Both of those, I think, are going to get a lot better just because you have a week of film. So when you look at the matchup, I think the thing that if I'm Iowa State that I really like is the balance on offense means that Phil Parker's going to have to decide how aggressive he needs to be with his safeties, because Bramer and Burkle and the running game is going to require additional help. Likely, meaning that Xavier Wongpa is going to have to potentially play up closer to the box, which means you got one-on-ones for your wide receivers, and Iowa State's got a few good wide receivers, and Rocco being as in control as he is, it potentially has the ability to access those, and then if the safety's back up, then you have the tight ends underneath. And so I think Iowa State has the potential to be able to schematically move Iowa around. But on the flip side, if I'm Iowa, what I feel pretty good about is if I can turn this into a Tom Brands wrestling match where I'm just going to make you suffer, where offensive line, running backs, big tight ends, Iowa State's defensive line is really good, but they're not super deep. They're not tested beyond their first or second strength. And they got a bunch of linebackers, but linebackers aren't big boys. So if you can, with Iowa, Gronowski being, even if he didn't throw that well, he ran the ball really well. He's a 235-pound, basically, running back. And you've got like three running backs, even if Moulton's not healthy, to be able to lean on Iowa State. And so if you can make this a game where it's 4 yards, it's 4 yards, it's 4 yards, play action pass for 10, it's 4 yards, it's 4, and you can do that. I don't know how much depth, and I mean this in a question mark. It might be good, it might not be. I don't know how much depth Iowa State's defensive line has. So if you can be that physical slobber knocker style game and then let Weegen go get a big return here or there, Iowa can absolutely win this game because that style may work against Iowa State. So that's, I think, the thing is they don't have to throw it super well, but if they can run it like they are capable of running it, then that's a dangerous matchup against Iowa State.
Yeah, I want to go back and talk about quarterback for just a second. Jane Jensen loves to use a quote where she says that, she doesn't want her team to be Chicken Little out there saying that the sky is falling, and that certainly is a place that Iowa fans have found themselves this week after seeing Mark Gronowski in week one. Can you give us a little bit of a perspective on what you saw out of Gronowski and what gives you hope, or what should give Hawkeye fans hope for what could be in store for him in the coming weeks?
Yeah, the scheme was good. I think that's the thing. Tim Lester, I'm a huge fan of Tim Lester as far as how he gets his guys in space and how he lets their strengths shine. So Gronowski he's never going to be a guy who you're taking 5 steps out of a shotgun and he's going to chuck it 70 yards downfield. He'll never be Nate Stanley. That's not his game. But things that they did schematically, like the ones that come to mind where he kind of like skipped past one, there's an open wide receiver in the end zone, he missed it by like 10 yards. Well, that's when you go back and watch on film and like, he's not going to miss that pass like that again. So schematically, there were open throws. And once you allow him to calm down, he's going to be able to deliver the ball with accuracy because how much his legs cause the threat of the run to be scary enough that play action is going to be really, really important. And then a bootleg stuff, if you're bootlegging and you're a defensive end or a linebacker that's trying to force the throw, you can't just come full force and try and force the ball out of his hand, because even if you hit him, you might not get him down. So I think quarterback play, I think the expectations of Iowa fans should be a little different than what you think of with quarterback. It's not going to be throw it 25 times a game, complete 20 of them. It's not Rocco. He's not going to do that, but he never was going to. But if he can run the ball for 85 yards a game, get 5 first downs on quarterback run plays where he's converting on a 3rd down, and then complete 60% of his passes, that's a super efficient offense because those 60% are going to be true one-on-ones because how much run threat there is. So yes, it didn't look good, and mechanically it's pretty shoddy. Like there's a couple ducks, but I think you're going to get those fixed, and the scheme that Leicester's going to be able to have will generally get their receivers in open space.
Can we get a game prediction? What are you thinking is going to happen there on Saturday when the Hawkeyes travel to Ames?
I think Iowa State is too balanced for any normal game flow for Iowa to win, but Iowa's really good at mucking up game flow, whether it's a blocked punt or a kick return touchdown or whatever. So I think Iowa State's going to win, called like 27-20. They get out in front, but the physicality of Iowa starts to close it off, and we get a real classic, must stop for Iowa State and must score a touchdown for Iowa to win the game. So I think 27-20 Iowa State, but this one's going to be fun and physical. You better tighten those chin straps for both teams.
Yep. Jeff, we appreciate your time joining us today. Thanks so much. Always great catching up with you.
Yeah, my pleasure.